Here at the Aquatic Research and Restoration Center, our crews are busy year-round carrying out fisheries research and restoration projects all over the east coast of Vancouver Island. Over the next couple of minutes, we will just scratch the surface of what our team of dedicated biologists and technicians accomplishes over the course of a calendar year. From January to March, our teams are busy conducting snorkel surveys for winter steelhead, microtrolling for juvenile chinook, and putting the finishing touches on our technical reports before the fiscal year end. Winter steelhead snorkels are carried out annually on the Gold River, Englishman River, and Salmon River. These surveys are carried out as part of long-term monitoring on behalf of the province. In recent years, our crew has documented that populations of winter-run steelhead on Vancouver Island have plummeted to record lows. As one aspect of the multi-year Bottlenecks to Survival project, our crews head out into the Salish Sea to capture juvenile chinook in the marine environment using a method called microtrolling. All fish captured are pit tagged and sampled for DNA. The goal of this project is to determine ocean survival rates and winter habitat usage of different Vancouver Island chinook stocks. The spring months are our busiest time of year. Local rivers and estuaries are filled with life as juvenile salmon, known as smolts, make their way to the ocean. As another activity of our Bottlenecks to Survival project, our crews work round the clock to capture and tag as many of these fish as possible. We utilize various methods of capture as the season progresses. Step 1 is to target the freshwater environment. We do this by installing rotary screw traps and smolt fences. Later in the spring, we shift our efforts to beach seining in the lower river and estuaries. While beach seining, one of our crews discovered a hot spot for young coastal cutthroat trout. Since not much is known about the movement of these incredibly unique fish in the ocean environment, this summer we teamed up with researchers from Washington State to implement a tracking study using acoustic tags. As the haze of the spring tagging blitz starts to fade and our catches in the estuary start to dwindle, it's time for the team to shift gears into the summer. Now that water levels have dropped, it's the perfect time for us to install our pit antennas. These antennas span across the bottom section of each river we study to detect the tags we previously implanted as juveniles outmigrate in the spring and adults return in the fall. Over the course of this project, we have installed 28 permanent antennas in 15 different streams across the island. Another project carried out by our crews in the heat of summer is the Small Lake Enrichment Program. This program supports provincial stocking efforts through applications of nutrients to otherwise unproductive lakes. Our crews have been running this project for 12 years, aiming to provide enhanced trout and kokanee fishing opportunities here on Vancouver Island. Many small streams on Vancouver Island are lacking any flow data, despite supporting valuable fish stocks. To help remedy this in the face of a changing climate and record-breaking droughts, our team is delivering a program called the Community Flow Monitoring Network. Our biologists teach community members and streamkeeper groups how to operate scientific equipment to create a network of reliable community flow data across the east coast of the island. Our team has been enhancing freshwater habitat on the island for well over a decade now. This summer, during the low flow windows, our crews installed 15 large woody debris structures on Center Creek, an important salmon-bearing tributary of the Englishman River. Large woody debris structures provide important holding habitat for returning adults and rearing juveniles, especially during low water events. These structures also improve stream function by scouring pools and helping to maintain channel definition. As summer turns to fall, our crews start preparing for more snorkel surveys and steelhead stock assessment activities. Summer steelhead snorkel surveys are not for the faint of heart, as they involve navigating some challenging canyon terrain in remote environments. This year, our crews surveyed 6 different populations of summer-run steelhead, and, like the winter runs, many of these populations have dwindled to record lows. These surveys have resulted in immediate conservation action being taken by the province on several occasions. Another important stock assessment activity is closed-site electrofishing for juvenile steelhead. This takes place on 4 rivers across the island and is a critical part of long-term monitoring for this species. As the rivers slowly begin to rise and fall rains approach, it's time for our crews to stop counting steelhead and to start counting returning adult coho, chinook, chum, and pink salmon. We carry out this work on behalf of DFO on 2 to 4 systems in any given year. As the late fall rains begin, runoff from our roadways starts to enter nearby streams. With this runoff comes the potential for contamination. It has recently been discovered that a toxic chemical originating from vehicle tires, known as 6-PPDQ, is lethal to several salmon species at shockingly low concentrations. In collaboration with Vancouver Island University, the University of Victoria, as well as local First Nations and stewardship groups, our team is spearheading an intensive monitoring program that aims to identify what waterways on the island are most impacted by this toxic chemical. Chemical contamination is not the only impactful thing that comes along with the fall rains. Sediment is also a massive issue that has the potential to impact freshwater habitat in a big way. On the Englishman River, there is a 40-meter high wall of clay, locally known as the clay banks, that has been eroding at an alarming rate. Our team has been monitoring the movement and potential impacts of this massive sediment source for years. Fall is also proposal writing season for our team. Annually, our small team of 8 to 10 staff writes up to 40 proposals to a variety of different funding agencies. Writing these proposals needs to be squeezed in between all of the field activities that we just reviewed. It is important to note that these proposals fund 100% of our wages, and without them, we would simply not have a team.